Hello YouTube, this is Morrisman, and thanks again for viewing my channel. I get a lot of comments as far as how do you learn all those songs that you've learned, because I got over 200 videos of me playing guitar, bass, drums, and soon add piano to the list because I can play a little piano. So people are wondering, how are you able to remember or play all these songs? And it's quite simple. I know how to read. I mean, I got a lot of sheet music here, so it takes a lot of the guesswork out. Now, these songbooks are not always 100% accurate, but it is a good at least start. And today I want to kind of take a moment out to kind of emphasize, excuse me, I'm a little ruffled here. I want to take a moment out to kind of, I guess, emphasize on the importance of theory. Now, I don't claim to be the best reader and the best theory person on the planet by no means, but I know enough to let me play what I play. And I believe that that's the ultimate goal for most inspiring musicians. They hear the stuff on the radio and they want to play it. So that's where their journey begins. So today, basically, what I want to kind of do is just kind of emphasize the importance of theory and knowing what you're doing. And that's just in any aspect of life. I mean, at your job, you are thoroughly trained to do your job. You're not just thrown in and you're supposed to just kind of figure it out. Of course, it's a learning experience as you go along, but you get better. And it's the same thing with music, because I've gotten some comments, and I appreciate every comment that I receive, and I try to respond to everybody. I'm a very positive person. I'm a big fan of avoiding negativity and toxic people, so I try not to get caught up in that mix. So I try my best to kind of help, you know, the inspiring musician. Like when I was growing up, the older cats helped me, took me under their wing, kind of showed me some things and to become a good player. So that is my ultimate goal on YouTube and my channel, is to kind of give back. But getting back to what I was about to say, I've received comments basically of this nature. You should do a tutorial. And I'm saying to myself, well, actually the video that I'm doing is actually a tutorial within itself. You can see where my hands are at, you can see what I'm doing. And what that leads me to believe, and there's nothing wrong with trying to do your best, you know, but I strongly urge that any young inspiring musician try to take some music courses. You know, you don't have to break the bank. You can go to an instructor for maybe a couple of months and kind of get going. I have a couple of videos on my channel called How to Play the Rhythm Guitar 1, 2, and 3. I strongly encourage you to view those because they can help you. It helps you cut through the chase of getting tied up with a music teacher or program for 2 years, and after that 2-year, 24-month period, you still can't play the stuff you want to play. And that really is counterproductive. Because again, ultimately, you want to play the stuff that you hear on the radio. So I strongly encourage the inspiring musician to take a look at those videos, because the gentleman that showed me how to play theory, because I had been playing guitar, fumbling around for several years. I developed a pretty good ear at that point, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I was solely having to rely on my ear, which is not always 100% accurate, because, you know, you can come close, but, you know, unless you actually know what chords you're playing, you come close. So I'm trying to head off people that are going down that path, because the 3-4 years you spend doing the wrong thing, and then you realize you're doing the wrong thing, then you're going to spend a couple of years trying to turn it around and start doing and practicing the right things. So that's the purpose of this video today, is to pretty much emphasize the importance of theory. Again, you know, you don't have to become this super arranger that does classical music and things of that nature, but just enough to know what you're doing when you're playing. It is very important, because you can pick up a lot by your ear, but you can't pick up everything by your ear. And depending on the style of music, it's very difficult, because for jazz and gospel, it's really difficult because the movement of those particular styles of music is quick. Jazz guys change chord progressions within seconds, as opposed to R&B, where you can sit on one chord for maybe a couple of bars, then switch to another chord. So you have enough time to make that transition. But in jazz and classical, gospel, fast-paced, and with gospel, they do a lot of chord, should I say, the majority of gospel songs, they change chord key structure. So they might start off in A sharp, it might end up in another chord by the end of the song. So it's really important that you know your stuff when you're trying to tackle those types of styles of music. So again, I have a couple of videos up that will kind of help you move in that direction. Again, there's nothing wrong with trying to pick up some stuff back here, but you ultimately want to know what you're doing, you know. So when someone asks you, what chord are you playing, you can tell them I'm playing a G. And if you know the chord, the key structure, even better. So I really emphasize that. I will try in the future to put together some videos so people can physically see where my hands are at, you know, a close-up. And I don't mind doing that. But what I don't want to do is handicap you into saying, okay, the only thing I got to do is just put my finger where his fingers is at and call it a day. No, ultimately you want to know what you're playing and what you're doing. That makes you a much better musician, and in the future makes you a good songwriter. So basically this video was just to kind of put that into your head. Because again, I've been getting these comments saying, show me how to play that. I'm like, well, actually, that's what I'm doing now, you know. But I don't mean no disrespect or anything negative. All I'm saying is it's important to take the first steps so you can get to the next step. And the first step is to kind of learn what you're doing. You know, what am I doing? You know, is this a chord, or you know, what key am I in, or what mode I'm playing for my solos? That's really important, because now since I can read, you know, I can play all day long. You know, I can go through all of these books and play. And the majority, again, are songs that, you know, the song books in most cases are pretty accurate. Some of them are not. I ran across some that they're not even in the key of the song, which is ridiculous. It's like, it's pointless if I get a song book and I can't play in the same key of the record. So why is this useless or useful? It's not at that point. So again, check out my videos. Guitar, I play the rhythm guitar 1, 2, and 3. I go through a technique as far as theory that a man by the name of Frank Ramon, Conservatory of Music in Chicago, Michigan Avenue. He taught me, believe it or not, within 145 minute lesson how to read music. Like I said, I've been stumbling around for years, playing by ear, going to teachers that were teaching me the basic stuff that would never evolve into learning how to play the stuff on the radio that I want to play. So it was useless. But his approach cuts through the chase. It doesn't tie you up for years and years trying to figure this out. He just laid out for you, and it's pretty simple. It's not complex at all. Because as again, you can see my videos. I play over 200 songs on different instruments, and that's because, you know, someone taught me a little theory. Again, I do not claim to be the best reader, sight reader, or the best theory guy on the planet, but I know enough now to know what I'm doing, and then, you know, I can take that and just basically play anything that I want. Because again, ultimately, that's what you're trying to hear. You want to be able to play the stuff on the radio that you hear every day, and you know, that's usually how we start off. I don't want to drag on with this video, so I got like another minute left, so I basically kind of want to give you this as far as a little bit of theory and common sense too. When I don't have the sheet music, over the years I've developed my ear where I can hear the note and I can find it in any instrument, either it's guitar, bass, keyboard, anything. And eventually that will come. Your ear will eventually develop. So don't worry about that. At the beginning you won't hear nothing, but as you keep moving forward, you will be able to hear the note. And here's the trick as far as tabulating songs, because I've had to tabulate some songs when I couldn't find the sheet music, or the sheet music just never existed. So what you do as a guitar player, or even perhaps a piano player, this is what you do. If you hear a song that you want to learn how to play and you don't have the sheet music, and at this point you somewhat develop your ear, because this is not really for the beginner, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Listen to the bass note of the song. Try to figure out, listen for it, and try to identify it on your guitar or piano. So say for instance, if the bass player is playing, you know, a G note, that most likely, not always, but most likely means that if he's playing a G note, you're playing either one of 4 chords. You're playing a G major note, a G major chord, G minor 7, G minor, G suspended 4th, and I think there's one more that I can't think of off the top of my head. But most likely you're going to be playing one of those 4 or 5 chords. That's kind of the trick. Listen to the bass note, kind of determine what note that the bass player playing at that particular time, and you can probably match up the chord to that note. Now, that's not 100% always the case, but most of the time it is the case where you can determine the chord by listening to the bass note. And that's the technique that I've been using for years when I don't have the sheet music. I listen for the bass note, and then I kind of match it up with the major chord, minor 7, suspended 4th, and I think again it's another chord that I'm missing. Major 7th chord. There might be one more, but we'll just stick with 5 for the moment. It's always going to be, in most cases, one of those 5 chords. Unless you're playing jazz and perhaps classical, but if you're playing pop and R&B and rock, most likely it's going to be one of those 5 chords. Now, jazz guys use a whole other chord library than the R&B and pop guys and the rock, so it really don't apply to that. But actually, technically, you can get away with that using those chords on some jazz songs. I've done it. Girl from Ipanema, I did a video, and I kind of tabulated it, and it was really close to the record. It sounded close. It sounded good. Now, most jazz guys would have not used the chords that I used, but the chords that I did use worked. And that's kind of the bottom line. Whatever works that you want to do, you know, you're good. So on that note, I'm going to leave you guys. And again, find somebody, and I really recommend you finding a physical person as opposed to an online course at the beginning, because you don't know what you don't know. So it's hard to guide yourself when you don't know where you're going. So I really recommend, because I'm from the old school, you know, someone showed me and then someone taught me. And that method works, as opposed to, I know nothing about the guitar, I'm going to go on SoundForm for an online course by myself, and I'm going to figure this out. You're going to get frustrated, disconnected, and you're going to probably give up in a matter of a couple of weeks. So I really don't recommend that. I recommend you finding somebody, sitting down with them, and they showing you what you need to know and why you're doing what you're doing. So on that note, you know, I wish you guys luck. If you got any comments, put them down there, and I'll try to get back to you. So until next time, thanks for viewing the video. Take care. Bye.